Main part of this video, I'm going to be going through 68 cards that I'm sending off to PSA for their 1950s special. I'm going to warn you right now if you want to shut it off, because it's mostly cards from my 1956 set, and it's just, I'm going to run through them quickly, or quick for me, of what I'm guessing and what I'm hoping for as far as grades. PSA's gotten a little better at turning around cards, especially on these specials. So 68 cards of mine, and 6 for DJ from Squish and Friends. I think whatever, they've been taking like a few extra days to get here. I'll tell you what he's sending, 6 cards of his to go with my order, but you won't see his until the grading reveal. So he did the same thing with a couple of specials back earlier in the summer, late spring, where he was really excited to get that 10 on his Max Scherzer mini, which was an awesome. I'm so happy he got that. So I'm going to run through those, but first, so you could fast forward again too, because like I enjoy watching other channels talk about cards and other details, but I think I'm boring. So if you agree with me and I'm boring, you can forward ahead a little bit. I'm going to link COG's video where we cracked open 12 of these 56s at the Nashville card show, and a few other things. I'm going to talk first. So again, you can fast forward to the cards. I've had a lot of interest, and I'm sorry, I got to get back to more of you guys. Things are not going well, so I'm doing my best to juggle a lot of stuff. And like I said, the videos are lined up. I even bought, if you didn't know, Golden Lion finally has their Series B. If they're not already sold out, go to Golden Lion Sports Series B, 18-pack boxes of repacked awesome stuff. I'm going to open that on the channel soon when those arrive. But a lot of people have had interest in the card holders, the graded card holders that I make, and I really appreciate that. I'm also going to link the COG video where they got theirs that I shipped to them about a month ago. Now, so I'm going to show those here in a second, and I'm also going to talk about briefly raw versus graded cards and stuff too. It's going to be a longer video. Which one of mine aren't? No, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I'm going to go over those. But first, so you almost have to and I'm doing this camera angle instead of you just listening to voice and hands just showing or making, Italian kind of expressions here. I like what 3D 80s Kid, that YouTube channel, said. I think it was him that said it on when he was on Golden Age of Cardboard. He said that most YouTube channels are just a bunch of hand models, because that's all you see, your hands, which is understandable if they're just showing cards and breaking cards. But he has a good point of, it's conversing like this. I'm not really comfortable doing it this way, but hopefully it's less boring than just watching a blank table while I talk. So I actually prefer raw cards, ungraded cards. I love like a 55 Bowman, a 56 Topps, a 54 Topps. You hold it, you feel it. It's like history in your hands. When they're encased, I think it takes away a lot of that. Like one of my favorites to hold are 55 Bowman. Those are thick. They're heavy. They're like cardboard. And like, with 56s, they're so cool to hold. But these days, for value-wise, and also preservation, but, value, and the thing is, most of what I get graded, I'm not going to be reselling in the next, hopefully, decade or two. I'd like to finish a couple of sets and then sell them completely graded. But it does increase the value. Like with this one here, this 56 Joe Collins, I could say it is mint, or at least near mint to mint, probably, 7, 8 range. But you know what it's going to sell for if I threw it up on eBay? what, maybe $5? Because that's my opinion on the grade. But when you get it slabbed, and if the darn thing gets a 7 or an 8, now all of a sudden it's selling for $45 on eBay. So, it's kind of a bummer, but for value of some cards that should inherently have value, it sucks that you have to get them graded. Like, I mean, look at it, like, let's see, just pick anything random. A 1976 Rod Carew, beautiful card. If I threw it up on eBay, what would I get, $2 or $3 for it? But getting it graded, even in like a 6 or something, it might sell for 10 or $15. So it's just, that's kind of a bummer with grading, is you almost have to. But I mean, I have the majority of my cards and my sets are ungraded. The two significant sets that I'm trying to completely grade, and with this order here, I'm going to have my 56 set over 50% PSA graded, 3 or higher. And then also I'm trying to completely grade the 71 set, which is just a monster, which is going to take a lot longer. But other than that, most of my sets, my 72, 73, 74, 75, those are all, they're ungraded. There's a couple of cards graded in each set. Like for the 75, I have the Gary Carter rookie in like a 7. But it's, grading's a necessity, I guess. And, a lot of people don't like it, and I don't disagree with them. Another thing with grading is you'll get a card. This has happened to me specifically. I remember this beautiful 74 Topps Pete Rose. All day, I thought it was going to get an 8 or a 9. No way it could get anything but. It got a 4. And that's my biggest gripe with PSA, when it's obviously a gorgeous card. Like if you see this, like we'll run through these and figure out what I guess this would be. And if I think and you think and we think it's just like a 7 and it comes back like a 3, I'd love it if PSA even just put a doggone post-it note saying, what is the significant flaw? Is there a deep gouge? Is there a surface wrinkle that I missed? Is there? So I wish they would do that. But that being said, a lot of times when people get their grades back, they're cussing it out like, oh my God, these people are stupid. Why'd they give this as 4? This is not a 4. I'm going to tell you, looking where I looked at my cards this time was a different room with different lighting. And I know I was seeing things that I was missing before. So not to defend the grading companies, like, I'm not a paid sponsor or something, but when you're getting a 4 on something that looks for like a 7 or an 8, there is something. And unfortunately, even like a minor surface crease is going to knock you down to a 3 or a 4, just automatically, pretty much. And what I was seeing that I hadn't seen, because I always said a lot of the times I know when I miss stuff, it's the surface. So like on this, I have it on a bunch of different lights, different angles. I have my contact lenses out so I can like hold it this close to my eye and like see like the freaking fibers in the paper. What I've found on a few of these is all of a sudden it looked gorgeous, and a lot of times even I ignore the back. Like a lot of times on my reveals, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not like factor in the centering on the back here? Just stinks. Not on this one, but just as an example. But when I was holding them at some angles like this and then closer like this, I'm like, well, what do you know? There is just a little squiggly 3/8 of an inch little surface crease right there. Most times I wouldn't have seen that. I saw it on a couple of these now, where I was looking at them. So that's going to take something that looks like this down to a 4. It's going to come back. I'm going to cuss them out. They stink. They do have their problems. Like if you get something that's a 9 and you resubmit it, you are as likely, in my opinion, it's going to come back. If you try to regrade it, it could come back a 9 again. It could come back a 10. It could come back an 8. It could come back an 8.5. It could come back authentic, altered. That's the part that is really bad with the grading companies, and unfortunately, PSA seems to have more of those issues of inconsistency like that. But as far as a gorgeous card getting a low grade, there is a reason. Even something fresh out of a pack. Some of the 2023 Chrome that comes back and it's like a 5. I bet you there's surface scratches, and sometimes those are hard to see. Those really are, and unless I like almost hold it flat and I have the light kind of bouncing off each area, I don't see those. Even on vintage, surface scratches don't stand out as much because they're not a chrome stock. They're just, regular cardboard stock. But man, you'd be surprised. I'm like, oh my gosh, his hat is ugly. There's, so just kind of to, when you look at your cards, evaluate your cards, both, not only to send them to get graded, but when you're at a show or something and you're going to buy something, take it and hold it up at an angle. Get that light off the surface, because when something looks gorgeous, what really dings it, a lot of times, I'm going to tell you from my experience at least, it's surface. And once it's in the slab and you see these grading reveals and something gets a cruddy grade, it's so much harder to see what the heck that was in the slab. And there's cards where, it's funny, I should give like a bounty on my 55 Bowman Mantle. It got a 1 with a mark. I got that graded 3 years ago. I cannot find that mark for the life of me. It stinks because it's a beautiful card, but there is something on that. They gave it a 1 with a qualifier, which is about as low as you can get without dropping down into the authentic realm. So from here, I'm going to show you the card holders. If you haven't seen them yet, again, the link to COG's channel where they opened up the card displays I made for them. Now, a lot of you who are interested in these, the biggest factor, even if I didn't charge a dime for my time and labor, and honestly, these can take weeks to make how I like them, just meticulous and quality and 3 coats of paint and everything, not one flaw on them. Even without that, the shipping is what's gonna probably, if we email back and forth and I kind of tell you, okay, this is how much it's going to be, you're going to be like, you're going to tell me to fly a kite, because I'm going to tell you the shipping on it alone, not even the materials, not even my time, not even the paint, the wood, the hardware, just the shipping is probably going to be $120 to $140. So that's where, if any of you want these, of course I could ship, like if somebody bought 2 or 3 of them, I think the overweight charge is like an additional 100. So it wouldn't be like, 120 or 140 a piece for each of these. If I shipped one big heavy package, it might be for 3 of them. It might end up being like $230 just to ship it. But then you're getting 3 of them shipped. But again, to make 3 of them, the most I've done of these at a time is 2. To make 3, you're looking at probably a few months. So, so if you're still interested, I just wanted to throw that out there, that you can find cheaper. You can find way cheaper holders with plexiglass that you can open and everything. But if somebody wants these and done them up custom like I did for COG, just be prepared for, the costs that you're going to run into. So let's go over and look at those, and then I'll dive into what's going off to PSA. So I'm covering a lot of topics in this just because my videos I haven't had a chance to do a darn thing that I want to do, fun stuff like this. So I'm throwing a bunch of info into this one. So we're going to take a walk over to the holders without me hitting the button to shut off the video here. And all right, so here's the displays. COG's had a custom header label that I put up there, but mine, I just left them. So the way these were, and you can have different configurations. Like I could do it where there's more slots for vertical cards versus the horizontal cards. I could do it where if you want the horizontal slots in the middle, or if you want them alternating horizontal, vertical, I could do that. The way I like to do it, I don't know why, but I put the slots for the horizontal cards up top. You can see I need to make some more, because I got cards stacked up on top there. And then the verticals I have coming down. And the way these work, I don't do plexiglass for a few reasons. Drilling it and mounting it, sometimes it cracks, it looks ugly. Even if it doesn't crack right away, if you have a screw hole in it, eventually moving it around, it might start forming a crack in the plastic or the glass. And then this way too, I like just this is how you put them in. Just you could, you know, slide them in and out, slide them in and out, and then I make them thicker because like SGC holders are thicker. The newer PSA holders, this is an older PSA holder. This is a lot thinner than the newer PSA holders. But so I make them wide enough so even if it's a newer holder, it could slide in and out. So you just, you know, slide them out, I change out cards out of this, you know, like you rotate your underwear in your underwear drawer. But that's the basic of these holders. What do these hold? 44 cards. Let's see some quick math. We've got 28 and 12. No, 40 cards, right? 2, 4, 6, 7 times 4, 28. 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 40. So these hold 40. Now, an option to save on shipping is I could do half a holder, or, you know, what would that be? You know, like a 60% of a holder. So at least you have, if you wanted like 4 vertical rows only, this definitely would be a lot lighter and ship a heck of a lot cheaper. And then also the size of the package too would be a lot smaller. So that's an option too, which I could basically, you know, kind of do up a spreadsheet or something and with some pictures and examples. I could make a couple of smaller holders. And if that's something you guys would rather have, then we could do it. We could do it that way. And then this is the first holder I made before I had graded cards. It was for screw downs. I made it to fit screw downs. Kind of hilarious. So now I just use it to display some, you know, game used and pack pulled autographs that are just kind of randomly thrown. And, you know, even though these are not, you know, they're just kind of just sitting there. So, and then this is a older version than that one. This one just took way too much time because I rip cut these to make these dividers narrow. It still holds the same number of cards, I think. No, this one has an extra, so it holds 4 more cards, but because it has an extra horizontal row, but it just wasn't worth it. I made these so thinner so you could see like more of the holder, more of the label, but I was like, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I don't need to see the clear plastic up here. I mean, these still, you know, they slide in and out the same and everything. But so look at the thickness of this. Look at how much of this label you can see, and then with the newer, you can see that the dividers here are thicker. You see less of, I mean, it's not like you're seeing less of the label, you're seeing less of the holder. And to cut it down to this so you could see more of the holder, it wasn't worth it. And also I think they are more stable in here. They're less apt to like, you know, bounce out, or if you like, you know, lift them up and look, because you could do that too, load them that way. But with these thinner and less overlap, holding the cards where they belong, you know, it's more apt for things to happen. So again, this is the newer version. This is the one that I'm going to run with this template from now on, with the thicker dividers here that I don't have to rip cut, because there's no reason to need to see more. You know, you're seeing the label, you don't need to see more of the clear plastic. So again, look at that Brett where it kind of cuts across the red on the PSA. And then you look at these, where's my finger? There it is. So instead of being here, it's up higher, which is totally unnecessary. To me, it doesn't take anything away from, you know, not seeing this top lip of plastic and more of the bottom plastic. So that's the difference with my newer version. And I can, you know, I make these two to size them. The sizing is just a hair taller on the SGC labels. Like COGs, I designed them to fit SGCs, but they can also sneak PSAs into it. But vice versa, if you want a PSA holder, the SGCs are going to be a little too big to fit in this. So you could specify if you wanted, you know, PSA or an SGC holder. So, so I'll put my email in the description. I won't have time to even start or do orders or take a deposit for any of those until, I'm going to say, January. So one last cool thing. This is My oldest, she's now 17. That's her first baseball game when she was 2. Where's the date on this? The date was somewhere. Well, it's June of '08. So she wasn't even 2 yet. So that was her first game. Oh, there we go. There's the tickets. So I kept the ticket stubs. I got a program from that day, and believe it or not, coming out of the 3rd inning break, my parents were recording it. Oh, what if you guys get on TV? No, we're not going to get on TV. We got on TV. So there's the game on VHS. I need to transfer that to something more modern than VHS. But they zoomed in on her drinking her sippy cup in her A's shirt, standing on my lap, coming out of the middle of the 3rd inning commercial break. So it's pretty cool. So just a little, side bit there. So let's now we're going to get back to, let's talk about what's going off to PSA, and then this video will be done. If you said thank God right now, just you can put that in the comments. So here we go. I'm gonna pull this here. Now we're doing the hand model part of this video. So I'm gonna do this in the order that I got everybody going, because PSA said they'll charge you extra if you don't ship them in the order that you have. So I have a bunch of notes of everything. I'm not gonna show each one, I'll just tell you. First one we have and a lot of these are low grade, that are not the 56s. They're low grade, but they're worth it getting holdered. 57 Topps Barra. I have a guess of a 3, hope of a 4. There's something that I'm not gonna try to find it on video and make this, an hour-long video. Right now we're already at 22 minutes. But there's, something. There could be like a little surface something or who knows what, but guess of a 3, hope of a 4. Again, my hope column is like, well, realistically it's a 3, but man, if I got lucky, or maybe I'm being too critical, a 4 is what I would say it would get. 57 Spawn, guess of a 4, hope of a 4.5. So I mean, that range there is like almost insignificant, but that's basically thinking like, man, I just think this is better than a 4, but I don't know if it's going to get better than a 4. This I pulled from one of I haven't bought many of these. COG, they go through a bunch of these and they get some incredible hits. The sportscards.com, one of their set breaks, the 57 Topps set break, where you get like 7 random cards, guaranteed a Hall of Famer. So here's Whitey Herzog rookie card, which is not worth a darn thing, which is disappointing. Like even in a 7, it's disappointing. But cool card, beautiful card, high grade. I'm guessing a 7.5 on this, with a hope of an 8. And these are, don't worry, it's not taped onto the card. It's onto the sleeve to I learned this from, I know other channels do it, but I first saw it on Double Barrel Sports Cards so that, when the grader pulls it out, because there are people that have had all of a sudden a crease on a card that came back with a crease, that they didn't send it with a crease. And I could see that if somebody's fat fingers are trying to get in here and pull the card out, that could be where it came from. So I really don't want that to happen. So I put these little paper tabs. 57 Whitey Ford, guess of a 3. Nothing in the hope column, just guess of a 3. And I put a 3 because there's no creases, but there's corner paper loss, upper and lower right. So there's a little bit of paper coming off. The corners on the back, they look sharp, but some of this, it's the white got worn away. So I don't know how hard that's going to kill it. Speaking of 55 Bowman, again, I love how thick these are. I picked this up cheap off eBay years ago. Guess of a 4, I have a note. No creases, heavy corner wear. So, at least from what I could see, there's no creases. So 55 Bowman, Bob Feller. Really cool card. Now, these next 12 are the 12 that came from that rack pack that I opened on COG's channel from the Nashville card show. So these 12, I said, I'm going to get all these graded. Some of these are just crazy stunning. So on that stream or on that show, I predicted there would be at least an 8 in here, and there's going to be a lot of 6s, 7s, and 8s in these 12. So these next 12 all came from that pack. If you want to see that pack opening, I'm going to put that link down below too. So there's going to be my email, and then a link to this opening, and then a link to COG where they got their card displays. So a lot of info in the whatever is below this, like there. Okay, 56 tops. These are all for my set. Some of these I already have graded, but these were so gorgeous that I'm going to go ahead and grade these anyways. And just if they're upgrades, then, you know, I'll upgrade my set. But 56 tops, Luis Arroyo, guessed an 8. Less, it's going to, I put a note, it's going to get less than that if the splatter over Luis affects the grade. So up here, there's some sort of like, you know, booger splatter or something right there that it really didn't come off. So depending on how that affects it, otherwise I'm guessing an 8. And then, you know, white back, gray back, there's a whole, most of them that came out of that pack were white backs. 1956, Bob Keegan. Guess of a 7.5, hope of an 8 on this one. I mean, really, it's just the centering and maybe the slightest touch on a corner. I don't think it's as low as a 7. That's why, even though PSA really doesn't give out half grades like as much as they should, I guessed a 7.5. This is just too gorgeous to just say, oh, this is a 7. So now next, 56 tops, Bob Nelson. This one, I think it was just, I didn't put a note why. I'm guessing a 4.5, hope of a 5. I don't know if it's surface or something on this one. That's not a crease, it's just a scratch on the reused card holder. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's probably the worst one that came out of that pack. Gene Freeze. This is the one that really stood out, like Snake and Rusty were commenting just how gorgeous because of the dark colors, but I must have seen something on it. Maybe the centering is bad enough that I thought it would knock it way down. I guessed a 5 on this, hope of a 6. And here's another gorgeous one. Dick Donovan, guess of a 7, hope of an 8. And I put those saying only because of centering. Other than that, I saw not even a corner flaw on this one. This one was one of the sharpest to come out of that. So I think it gets a 7 because this centering. I hope it's not. I've seen centering like this take something down to a 6, which I really hope not, because everything else on this card is just, I mean, just look at it. It's just how beautiful it looks speaks for itself right there. It's just, man, it's a bummer about the centering. All right, Dean Stone, 1956 tops. I have a guess of a 5.5, hope of a 6. Again, it could be centering. I think we got a couple of little corner touches. So, but just again, a gorgeous doggone card. An almost, you know, 70-year-old card. 56 tops, Jack Harshman. Guess of a 4. I put surface. So I guess the surface is beat to heck on this. I mean, because otherwise it's a nice looking card. But this one, it's surface that I put 4. That's it. Nothing in the hope column. Just straight guess of a 4. Didn't think it deserved better than a 4. Gail Harris, 56 tops. Guess of a 5, hope of a 6. Again, it might just be due to centering. I don't have a note on this one. I keep bumping the camera. If I knock over the camera, I'm going to give away something. So let's be careful. All right, here we go. Ray Moore, guess of a 6, and I put it's going to get a 4 if the surface wrinkle is a wrinkle on back. So this is what I was talking about. So somewhere on here I saw, like, I mean, I don't know if it's just paper texture, but if it is a surface wrinkle, then this is going to be a 4, which is unfortunate because look how amazing that looks. But my guess is a 6, so we'll see on that one. But if it comes back a 4, at least I'll know why. And that's what I said earlier about some of these that look that gorgeous. You get to 4, you're like, what in the world? But, you know, it's used as a surface. Chuck Stobbs, I have a guess of a 5 on this one. Again, probably because of the centering, but, you know, could be a couple little issues adding to that. Roy McMillan, guess of a 6. And last one from that pack. So I kept them separate in this order, and then I have the rest of the 56s later in the order. Bob Speak, I have a guess of a 6, hope of a 7. So that's the 12 that came out of that pack I opened with COG at the card show. All right, now we have a couple of 52s. These I also, man, how do I direct you to this? If you go to the YouTube channel, I think he only has just my one video on there. The guy that I bought these from, XRPG, Christmas Rack Pack Grading, I cracked open this 52 tops on there, and so far out of that pack, so the rare, which I didn't know was a rare grayback, I sold it golden a few years ago for $9,000. It got a 7, I think, which was the highest graded in the world. It was a rare back on it. And then the error card of the, oh, I'm drawing a blank. The wrong bio on Joe Page and Johnny Sane. So the Joe Page, I got a 5.5, which is a 4-figure card also. And now I'm going to send a couple more that came out of that same 12-card Christmas Rack Pack. Just commons, nothing special about these, but these just look nice. So this one, this Connie Ryan 1952 tops. It's not a high number or anything. Guess of a 6. If the back is not deemed miscut. So look at that, you see? So I hope it doesn't get a qualifier. I don't know what it would knock to, but if that doesn't, it probably will, it could, but guess of a 6, hope of a 7 on that one. And then this Del Ennis, guess of a 6.5, hope of a 7. So again, those were fresh out of that same Christmas rack. It's like a 40-minute video if you want to see me going through that. I think it might be the first Christmas rack I opened. I want to say it's from 2018, 17, somewhere way back. But if you look up 52 Christmas rack opening, that's me that opened up. And these are a couple of the others that I pulled out of that I had yet to get graded. All right, next up, some 1958s. I have a few of these graded, but this is just, I love this card. So I found another ungraded. I'm going to get it graded. 58 batting foes with Mantle and Aaron. This is just such a historic photo. I have a guess of a 4. 58 tops, Warren Spawn. I have a guess of a 5. 58 tops, Eddie Matthews. I have a guess of a 4.5 with a hope of a 5. I don't have any notes on what I saw, but just when I looked at it close, those were my guesses. Yeah, I know this isn't worth much in this grade, but it's just, I like this card. More and more people are talking just how much his cards are underrated for just, look at his stats. That's all I have to say. 58 tops, second year Frank Robinson All-Star. I have a guess of a 1.5 and a hope of a 2. I think it's riddled with surface issues and a few creases and things. So I'll be ecstatic if it got a 2, but I'm guessing 1.5. Mantle, 58 All-Star. I have a few of these that's, again, in low grade, this is worth grading. Guess of a 3, and I have a note that there's a stain in the lower left on the front. So guess of a 3 on that one. Aaron All-Star, yeah, you can lie. This is even worse shape than the Frank Robinson All-Star. Guess of a 1, hope of a 1.5. So just wanting that slab. You look at it, it's, but there's issues. I'd have to pull it out and point it with a pointer and all that to show you where. But there's plenty of issues on that card, but it's a cool card. 58 All-Star, Stan Musial, guess of a 3. So, again, these are all lower grade, but they're cool cards. And for the $14.99 special that PSA has, it's worth it to me to get these graded. Now, the rest of these, until we hit, most of the rest of these, until I hit some 59s. This is all 56s, so I will fly through these. These are just, for my set, these are ones I do not have graded yet, but I need to power through and just get the rest of these commons graded. Johnny Antonelli, guess of a 3, hope of a 3.5. I considered buying this already graded on eBay, but I really wasn't finding any like 3s and 4s and 5s for cheaper than like 25, 30 bucks. So I'm going to take a shot. I'm trying to do the set in 3 or better. So if this gets worse than a 3, I'm going to have to find another option for this one. But this is a little more beat up than some of the others that you're going to see here. Yeah, guess of a 3, hope of a 3.5. Oh, and what's pretty cool, not many players I've run into. I mean, I wasn't born in 1930, but April 12th of 30. I was born April 12th. So that's kind of neat. I noticed that on back. Ron LeGray, guess of a 6, hope of a 6.5. So this is one of the nicer ones. These are not in number order. I just, just keyed them in and went through them. Joe Collins, guess of a hope. Guess of a 4, hope of a 4.5. But still presents beautiful. I mean, I can't wait till, if I can get lucky enough to finish the 56 set all completely graded. Chuck Tanner, 3.5 is my guess, hope of a 4. And I've had requests to run through my 56 and 71 set. I did a few years ago, but there's a lot more graded in them and a lot more. Yeah, so I'm going to go through those again soon. The 56, though, it's not. I do have all the stars, except a few, all graded. So now it's just focusing on the commons. And again, my goal was 3 or better. So, which I thought was, 3s still present well. They're not completely destroyed, and I think the set has good value. And if I have the whole doggone thing graded in 3 or better, so Chuck Tanner 3.5. Yes, hope of a 4. Roy Campanella. So this is one of the Stars Hall of Famers. Is he in the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure, that I didn't have graded yet. Guess of a 3. Paper loss on nose. Right there on the bridge of his nose. So, I mean, I hope it doesn't kill it more than a 3, but if it does, I'm going to have to find either a graded one of these, which is pretty expensive because of its popularity. Jim Pearsall, lots of scratching on hat plus surface crease on Jimmy. Okay. On his signature Jimmy, there's a crease in there. So I have a 3.5 on this one, is my guess, with nothing in the hope column on that one either. Now these two, so was it the Heritage or the Giles that I had graded, I think, in the last one? I don't know. But in my last reveal, mine that I said to get graded was a 1. These two cards, they're so hard to find in nice shape. But I picked up both of these at the Nashville show and hoping to get at least a 3. So the Heritage, I think it's card number 1. Yep. AL President, I'm guessing a 3 because it says, I have a note, surface issues and corner paper loss. So I hope it gets a 3. Well, my guess is a 3. I have a hope of a 4. The Giles is a little nicer. National League President, card number 2. Warren Giles. I have a hope, let's stop. A guess of a 4. I'm trying to go too fast. Guess of a 4.5, hope of a 5. So we'll see. All right, Yablonsky, Ray Yablonsky. This is amazing, stunning. I have a guess of a 7.5, hope of an 8. Wouldn't that be something to get I've gotten lucky and gotten an 8 on a few of the 56s that I've sent away. I thought that was a crease, but it's just the white divider between the the stat bars. Red Wilson. So this one, I usually don't have a huge range between my guess and hope, but this, again, I said I think my guess is realistic, and then my hope is like, maybe dreaming a little bit. I have a note that there's a tiny upper right corner bend. So depending on, up here where's my finger? There we go. There's a corner bend, and sometimes depending on how far in is whether it kind of really then starts being considered a crease, or I hope it doesn't get considered a crease, because then we're looking at a 3 or a 4. on this gorgeous looking card. So my guess is a 6. But if that corner bend doesn't factor as much as I'm worried it will, I actually have a hope way higher than my guess. So guess of a 6, hope of a 7.5 on that one. Just another gorgeous card. So, but sometimes a minor flaw, if it's a key factor in the grading scale, it will knock it down, way down. Herb score, guess of a 6. Bob Rosselli, guess of a 6, hope of a 6.5. George Susk, or Seski, I think it's Susk, guess of a 5. Willie Miranda, guess of a 5.5, hope of a 6. Al Silvera, have a guess of a 3.5, hope of a 4. I don't have a note why, but it could just be general wear. But again, just some of these just present so beautiful. Tommy Carroll, guess of a 5. So most of these are just, solid mid-grade, kind of in the 4, 5, 6 range. Ray Crone, guess of a 6.5. That's just on the card saver. Ronnie Klein, guess of a 7. So this is one of the better ones in the order. Did the corner have an issue? Did I miss something? Yeah, a little bit, but I think that might be the only issue. But you can see on the back, it looks sharp-ish, but on the front, just a little bit. Sometimes on the thicker cards, like one side of a corner will look not so good. You flip it over and it's a lot better on the back. And so I've seen that stuff where I've guessed way low because, that corner's horrible. Overall, that corner is pretty darn sharp. So I guessed it was still 7 worthy. We'll see. We'll see when we get it back. Jerry Lynch, guess of a 6.5. Poor guy is out, though. Jim King, guess of a 7, hope of a 7.5. Now we're getting into a few very nice ones here. So again, guess of a 7, hope of a 7.5 on the Jim King. Bill Renna, guess of a 6.5, hope of a 7. Ernie Orovitz, I put 7 as a guess only because of centering. So you can see, again, centering's pretty off, but other than that, everything else is just stunning beautiful. So 7 just because of the centering with a hope of an 8, which I think is pretty unrealistic because I don't think something that off center is going to get an 8. Babe Burr, lower right corner paper loss. So my guess is a 6. So again, just a little bit of the white missing on the lower right corner. Wayne Terwilliger, upper left corner crease. I'm guessing a 3.5. So again, there's where I think the crease came out a little further out. I don't think you could see it in the holder or on camera. So guess of a 3.5. Hope of a 4, though. So if it's minor enough, I'm hoping it still gets a 4. Pedro Ramos, guess of a 7. Hope of a 7.5. Again, another gorgeous card. I think really the only reason why I said 7 is it's centered downward. And Frank Sullivan, guess of a 6. We're getting there. That's all that's left. Bob Lemon. Guess of a 3 because lower right corner crease on back. Now I'm getting really picky here, but, you know, PSA might too. So lower right corner crease somewhere on the back. So guess of a 3 because of that, but a hope of a 4 if it doesn't destroy it too much. Walker Cooper, guess of a 6, hope of a 7. Beautiful card. Action shot. So, guess of a 6, hope of a 7. Johnny Cucks, guess of a 5.5. This is one of those where I don't think PSA is going to give it a 5.5, but I couldn't decide. Is that a 5 or a 6? I think it's too nice to be a 5, but I think because of the centering, maybe it doesn't get a 6. I don't know. So that's where that guess comes from. All right, last half a sheet here. Steve Gromick, guess of a 4. And that guess of a 4 is because factory ink marks down middle. Well, you really can't see it on this, but there's some stripes that come down, and they look to be factory. There's a little ink residue there. So it adds surface issues. But I do have a hope of a 5. Bob Lennon, guess of a 7. So another very sharp, very strong card. That's just shadowing on it's not a crease up there. Well, maybe it isn't. I missed it. I don't know. I mean, no, it's, but well, we'll see. Jim Finnegan, guess of a 6. Dick Grote, another popular player from back then, the Pirate World Series year of 60. I should know that. Guess of a 5. Ted Kluszewski, a 3. Not even a hope on this, just a guess of a 3. Upper left corner crease. So up there's a corner crease. I'm hoping it doesn't, and it's a little worn. You can see that corner down there is not in good shape. So guess of a 3. Walter Alston, guess of a 4. All right, that's it for the 56s. Now we're into some more, you know, stars and Hall of Famers, low grade, but, you know, 59 All-Star, Aaron, a guest of 2. Heavy wear, minor creasing, gouge on back is why I'm saying a 2. There's see that gouge? The paper's kind of lifted. It's luckily not a pinhole, but it's gouged, and just you can't see in the holder. The holder hides a lot, but there's creasing on it. It's, you know, and where the corners are. But, you know, it's a cool card. I don't think I have one. I think that's my only one, and definitely don't have one graded. Mazeroski, this one's beautiful. 7 is my guess on this 59 Mazeroski. Just stunning. Uh, 59 Frank Robinson. This is one of my, I'm going to say, in any decade, all-time favorite, top 10, top 12 favorite cards. It's just something about this picture. I don't know if it's the stands in the background that looks historic, the black around the circle, around, you know, framing the picture. I don't know how he's standing there. I don't know. This is one of my favorite all-time cards. So I picked it up cheap on eBay because it's lower grade. I do have a 5 or a 6 graded somewhere, but it's one of those where, yeah, I don't need another one, but I love another one. So here you go. So I'm guessing a 3.5. Surface crease over red. So there's a surface crease comes through here. And then I have bummer because it's a gorgeous card otherwise. So my notes can get pretty detailed on this. Guess of a 3.5, hope of a 4, but still just, I can't stop staring at that card. I love that card. Love it. One of my all-time favorites from any rookie, any mantle, anything. 1959 Topps Mays Catch. I'm guessing a 5. Hope of a 5.5. 59 Topps Mantle hits 42nd for Crown. Guess of a 5, and I say only because of centering. Otherwise, it is a beautiful card. So guess of a 5 because of centering. Hope of a 5.5, but I don't know if it gets it because of that centering. And then a couple of 55s, and then my group is done. 55 Spawn. 4 is my guess. Paper loss, left edge, and on multiple corners. So you can see this left edge over there. I don't know if you could see it. There's like, you could see some brown showing. Some of the white's gone, but I don't know how hard they're going to hit that sort of thing because it's, you know, it's just a kind of a, I don't know. So with vintage, it's hard on some like these. I haven't graded a lot of 50s except my 56 set cards because, you know, just, but this will be a learning experience. So guess of a 4 because of that, but a hope of a 5. It's that nice. This Killebrew I picked up cheap. I want to say, like, you know, I have one in a 5 that I picked up like 15 years ago and got it graded, got a 5. I might have paid $30 for this, but for a Killebrew rookie, I'm guessing a 1, but it's a, you know, it's a rookie of a Hall of Famer. There is a lot of issues. Stains plus multiple creases. I mean, this thing is stained. It looked like it was played with in the dirt. Especially see on the back. Can you see all that there? Look at that. It almost looks like mold, to be honest with you. And then multiple creases. I mean, I hope it at least gets a 1. It's not going to get better than a 1. This is not a 1.5 or 2. This is a 1. I'll be ecstatic with a 1. Bummed if it gets an authentic, but... So those are mine, and then the rest of them, DJs, I don't know what they're going to get, but there's DJs. He has a 56 Del Crandall, 57 Del Crandall, 54 Solly Hemus, 54 Hoyt Wilhelm. I am ecstatic. I think he paid $10 for it ungraded. I mean, from the pictures he sent me, that sucker could get a 7. If that gets a 7, it's amazing. 54 Topps Preacher Row, and 54 Topps the O'Brien brothers. So those are the 6 that hopefully show up tomorrow, and then I'm going to wrap them up with this order. I have it all keyed in and credit card entered and everything for it. I had to do that by the 31st to take advantage of the October special, but it gives you, it says ship by like November 20th. So they give you some leeway to get it all, you know, packed and shipped. So it's not going to, you know, it'll get off in time. So when DJ's cards show up, I'm going to put them with these. And off to PSA it goes. So there is the 74 card order, 68 of mine, 6 of DJ's. And we will, maybe by Christmas, maybe by New Year's, I'll get that order back and I'll have these notes and see how I did. So thank you for watching this hour-long video pretty much. A lot of info and, you know, more to come. Definitely. There's, you know, on the edge of the pool table right over here. I did pick up a box of Topps Holiday. Just I'm like, what the, you know, they're like early on the shelf at Walmart, and still that 2011 Lineage, and then those packs from the Nashville show I still want to open. So upcoming videos. I don't know if I'm going to do them as part of my Insanity Rip series, which it's going to be insane because we're going to be ripping. I'm going to rip some 70s packs and tear into a lot of stuff. So, but those might be like the intro days. I'm going to start smaller to bigger. So the beginning days will be like, you know, not high-end crazy crap, but I'll work my way up. And, you know, I think it'll be a fun series. I don't know if I'm just going to go through it and just rip stuff, but have it all lined up. Let me know. Do you want me to show you the whole series of what I'm going to do, or have each video be a surprise? Because I already know what I'm going to tear open on the last day. And it's a crazy pack. So, all right, guys. Thank you.